This is just trying to get everything set up to harvest. Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome out to another beautiful morning. We currently have Trevor stuffed in the baler. We are trying to get everything done all at once. So we got to get this baler unloaded, and there's a bale stuck way up in there. And it's twisted and we can't quite get it out. So we're trying to get it out. We got to get the baler all unloaded so we can park it, because that tractor, we have to put the duals on it, and that one will be hooked up to our crossover. So we're trying to get everything ready for potatoes. So we're gonna see if we can get this to twist and do something. Hey, it's coming. It is moving.
Not how you're supposed to do it, but it works.
I'm surprised that that one string is holding.
Well, I mean, it is 500 pounds breaking strength. There's no pressure on that little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, that isn't normally how you're supposed to get it out. It's hot. That bale was baled a little wet and almost lit on fire inside the baler. So you can see, now you can see the pusher up in there. That's what packs the flakes every time a flake comes up. But yeah, we're gonna get going on a little bit of everything. I'll go show you what we have done so far. Here we have our harvester, and Christopher, he showed you guys in the last video or so that they changed all the rollers and they put all the belts on, and we put a bunch of new belts on too. So like this boom belt is new. So we replaced some were pretty new from last year that we had put on late in the season. So we just put the ones from last year on some of them. And we got this all ready to go. Christopher, he went out of town to a dog show, so he made sure this was all ready to go. This is his machine that he runs. So he made sure it was all ready to go before he left. And then we also got all of the beds put on. So these all had manure beds on them. Well, all except for a couple. There's a couple that don't have manure beds. But they all had manure beds on, so we cleaned them up after hauling manure. We unbolted the manure beds, pulled the beds off. We put all these bulk beds on. So all of our trucks are ready to go, except for there's some of the wiring. Some of the wiring is not quite done. We need to go through, we need to pull them in and make sure all the lights and everything work, because there's a chance that we're gonna be harvesting at night if the weather's too hot during the day. So let me go show you the crossover. So here's our crossover or windrower, whatever you want to call it. And you can see some of the belts are new, some of them are old. So we've just put all these on. So we take the belts off in the winter time, that way the sun doesn't rot the rubber that holds all the metal links together. We just put this belt on. So this is the new belt. This is the rear cross that goes, spits it out either side. And I think the diviners are also new. We got a bunch of new ones and a bunch of old ones. The ones that we replaced late in the year, like maybe the last day or two of harvest last year, we just left those on. So this thing is ready to go, except for there's something missing here. We don't have the tractor. It's hooked to the baler, so Trevor's going to unhook that. And then we have to hook up all the electrical. I mean, you have all the hydraulics, but then you also have this big control panel that we have to hook up and relearn how to make this thing work, because it's pretty complicated. Now, there's something that we mentioned in a previous video where we were taking all the vents out of the cellar that was all gross. Well, they got all those straightened out and cleaned up, but now they're straightening the vents for another cellar. So we have a lot of our pipe movers here because the hand lines are turned off, and this is our vent stretcher. So they just take the vents that have been smashed, like these, that have maybe had the end smashed by the scooper, and they're smushed. and it's just a big long rod. It's got a hydraulic ram in the inside, and it's two pieces, so it'll come apart like that, and it'll straighten these vents out. We call this a vent stretcher. And what's nice is this used to be owned by Agri-Service, I think, or Agri-Store, and they were sick of dealing with it because it has a lot of problems. They just gave it to us. So we're like, sweet, now we have a vent stretcher that is actually ours, and we'll just rebuild it when it breaks, and we can fix all of our own vents. But they finally also have all the potatoes out of the cellar. So they have all these vents out, they have them out, they're gonna get ready to straighten those out too. But this was the last cellar that had potatoes in it, and we got them all out. They were hauling like crazy last week because we told them, hey, we're gonna be digging potatoes come the end of this week. We gotta have this empty. So they hauled and hauled and hauled. This cellar had just over 100,000 sacks in it, and they got it all out in about 2 weeks, which was nice. So it does have a little bit of issues, but this cellar won't be filled till very, very last. Well, we have some water. So we have to it needs to dry up. We haven't even scraped it out all the way yet because they literally just got this empty like last weekend, a couple days ago. So it needs some repair. I did notice that the guy who fixes cellar floors, all his equipment is out here. So I don't know if he's he's obviously gonna be fixing something. I don't know if he's gonna be going through all of them or which ones he's going through, but we're gonna do a few repairs on the cellar floor, make sure they're good to go. And later today, we have to go down and line up all our cellar equipment. We moved all the cellar equipment down there to the other cellars that we're gonna be starting in, but we haven't lined it up yet. It's just sitting there. So we gotta go line that up this afternoon. But for now, there's your update. I'll bring you back when we go down there or whatever we're doing next. And yeah, we're mad dash trying to get ready because we start harvest in 4 days. Actually, it's Monday. We're gonna start on Thursday, do a trial run, make sure everything works. And then Friday we start full steam ahead. Okay, well, we are now setting up the 8335R with the duals. We got the first front dual set right here. We got to put the front duals on and the back duals on, then we can hook this up to the windrower. Hey, we got it. Wasn't too bad. These front duals are a lot easier to put on. We used to have some that had to hold drum. You had to take every single bolt out. This one you just take every other one out, so it's not too bad. So with a couple people, it makes it not that bad. Okay, we're just getting this thing hooked up. So hopefully we can hopefully we can get it hooked up. There. Like, it looks like it needs to go in a little bit more, but at least it's down in there. Now, it's going to take us a while to figure out which one of these hydraulics goes where. There is a little guide down here. but who knows? Who knows which is left, which is right? No idea. We really ought to label these someday. Well, another thing that we're doing is we're starting to water the potatoes to get ready for harvest. We just put down a 1/2 inch so that when we dig it, the dirt doesn't get all hard and cloddy. It'll kind of break up and be softer for when we go through. So we're putting down a 1/2 inch, and we have to start the fields that we're going to do. And so we're not starting all of them. We have to start one today. Tomorrow we'll start another one, and then we have to start a field every day so that it'll be wet as we go through. Not super wet. It'll be on for about a day and a half, and then it'll be off for a few days, and then we'll start harvesting in this field. This is the one we're starting in. So I just turned this on. It'll be done tomorrow. All right, guys, it is the next day now. We're getting closer. They got all the vents straightened out here and in that one, and these for that cellar. And in here, Aaron, the guy who comes and does the cellar floors, he showed up this morning with his skid steer, and he has a bunch of different attachments for it. But he's working on the cellar floor. Right now he's just trying to get it all cleaned up, and he's moving some dirt around, and he's trying to fill some holes. We have some holes, and then also over the years the semis drive on this and it gets pumped up in the middle. So he's got a little grader bucket. He's going to grade that off and push it to the sides and just kind of try and level this floor out. So by the time he's done, should have pretty well brand new floor, which will be nice. So we are currently on our way over to the other cellars where we're going to be starting harvest. All the equipment, the cellar equipment is over there. We just have to go set it all up and line it up and get it all ready to go. So we're on our way over there. I'll see you there. Okay, we're here. We've got even flow bin, a whole bunch of conveyors, the sorter tables on the other side. We have our new milestone eliminator, because we got to eliminate now. We have 2 pilers and 2 tube pilers for the dirt. So we've got a lot of stuff to get moved into these cellars, but it really shouldn't take too long, other than having to plug everything in and drive everything, because none of this stuff is plugged in. It's gonna take us a little while, I think. It could be quick if it's easy, as long as everything works. Half the time we plug stuff in and it all runs backwards. So yeah, we haven't. This is our new eliminator. Or I guess not eliminator. This is it is an eliminator. We have to eliminate. So all the little potatoes will go through here, and they will drop. They'll drop off to the side, and go around the other side. But it's just a huge star table, and they will all drop off and get spit out the side onto one of those other little pilers. We'll be loading and moving eliminators into a different cellar to hopefully be able to sell them. If not, we can spread them as fertilizer. So, but yeah, we're gonna get moving all this stuff in. Looks like a lot of stuff that's gonna be in the cellar is already in here, at least. All this stuff just has to be arranged, because we have to be able to unload trucks and load semis and load the eliminator trucks. So there's just a lot of stuff we got to do. Okay, so we've got some of the conveyors set up. We're going to come out, go that way. But this piler, we're actually going to use at our cellars to unload our eliminator trucks. We have another piler over there that we need to bring back. So we're going to take this piler, we're hooking it up to the pickup, we're going to take it over to the cellars, and then we'll bring the other one back here and finish getting the rest of this set up. Okay, well, we got the milestone eliminator wired up. We're getting it moved into place. It's going to be up dumping over this conveyor here, and we got our other piler we wanted down here, and everything else is down here. So we're just kind of starting to get everything else lined back up. We got to make sure everything's going the right way on this even flow. This cord fell out of the hopper when we were pulling over here, and it ripped all the wires out of here. So that's live, very hot. We haven't put all the safety stuff back on because we're trying to make sure that everything's going the right direction. Don't do that, kids. So once we get this sorted out, make sure everything is going the right way, we will unplug it from power over there, make sure it's all going the right way. Well, nothing would move, so we have to take and swap 2 of these wires because it's 3-phase. So you just have to, have you ever seen a plug-in that big? Ooh, it's a big one. But we just have to swap 2 of these wires and then everything will work.
Swap the white with the red because it should work actually.
It looks like they should have been swapped just by how they come out of the cord.
Well, if Christopher hadn't ripped it out on the road, we wouldn't have to worry.
Yes, he was driving, so it was his fault, so he gets to fix it.
Hey, the county, see, has some pretty bad roads.
Yeah, to play devil's advocate, he hit a bump and the entire cord came out in one shot and hit the ground and yanked that sucker out.
And I was going slow.
Yeah, he wasn't doing no 70 mile an hour this time.
It has a lot of leverage though, because it pulls from that end and it bounced and just sent a shockwave over here and just launched it. So it's a lot of, it's a big lever. But we'll get this switched and it should work. Okay, we got it. It is all going the right way, so now we're going to put all the extra protective stuff on and then plug it into this monstrous plug. And it should be good to go for the rest of the season. Hopefully the rest of forever. Okay, we have that piler set up. That's going to be the one that's going to be loading semis. We're going to be transloading 12 loads a day, sending them directly to the fresh shed. This piler is going to be for the eliminators, loading our 10-wheelers. We're going to have a couple 10-wheelers we're going to be loading and just stacking them in a cellar. And then we have the tube conveyor, the tube piler that's going to go right here, loading the little dirt and the little tiny potatoes that nobody wants. And then that dirt conveyor, or piler, will go on the side of the sorter table. We got to put the sorter table in, then put the even flow in, and then we should be set up. We're getting there. This is our sorter table, and it moves so slow that we've named it Sid. Sid the Sloth.
Straighten up. I'm going to turn this on.
We also got the tube one in here, so we have 3 conveyors, 3 pilers coming out of the same little spot. That should be fine because that'll tip down, so.
Another one, you can move it more right here.
A little more.
I think that'll be good.
That's all the way down on that too, so.
Alright, I think we're good.
Unless we want it a little bit higher so they don't drop that far.
Okay, I think we're all set up. Got the even flow bin, the sorter table, and the eliminator with 3 pilers off this side and 1 piler going off that side for the dirt. So, hopefully all goes well and everything works how it should. Right now we're trying to figure out power to make sure everything has all the power it needs. What's up guys, it's the next day. I am out here. I have to shut this head gate off because my pivot's done and I'm sure the ditch is overflowing because the pivot finished like at midnight. So I'm gonna shut this off, then we'll go over and see how bad the ditch is overflowing, and we'll continue working on the cellar. We still have some electrical stuff to get figured out before harvest. It is Wednesday and harvest starts, well, we're doing a trial run tomorrow, so we need to get everything working today. Well, we didn't flood too bad. There's a little bit of flooding right here along the edge, a little bit over here, but honestly, not too bad. This field is now watered and ready for harvest. The corner over on that end is straight sand, and we already know that we're probably gonna have to pull trucks with a tractor through there, but it also has solid set over there, so I'm wondering if I leave the solid set, if I start it and run the solid set for a couple hours the day before we go in, just on the sand, if it'll be solid enough that the trucks won't get stuck. I don't know. Something to think about. But let's head back to the farm and see what we got going on. So I'm back here at the shop now. We're working on trucks. We have a few trucks left to get ready. This is the truck my mom drives, and her AC isn't working super great, so I'm working on cleaning out the airflow, the condenser in the cab. Trevor's over here, he's pumping up all the tires. We hooked up all the wires. This is what we have to do on all the trucks. We have to this is the wires for the lights and the bed for the side doors to come down and everything. So we're getting all the trucks ready so that we hopefully don't have any problems. One thing we do have to make sure on these, we have to make sure the lights all work, because the only time all year that we actually use the lights is during spud harvest, because we dig till about 10 o'clock at night, sometimes all the way through the night. So we have to make sure all the lights work. So we're working on getting this all buttoned up, and then we'll hopefully be ready. I know the electrician's coming later to work on the cellars, try and get all the automatic system working. Yeah, so we're just trying to get ready, because tomorrow we're gonna load everything up and make sure everything works, and then the next day we're rolling. Okay, all the trucks are ready to go, and we are taking the last few trucks down that we're gonna need down there, and then we're gonna see, I think the electrician's down there getting the auto system working. So let's go see what we got. Okay, so we're airing up the tires on this piler. This is going to be the one that loads the semis for transloading. They're going to be taking 12 loads a day and taking it directly to the plant. This one is going to be loading our eliminators, and then the little one over there, the little tube one on the other side, they just wired that up. And this is our electrician. He just wired all the rest of the plugs so the automatic system will work, but we haven't tested anything yet. So now we got to kind of turn everything on, test it, make sure all the systems work, because if the automatic system doesn't work, it makes it so it's not very safe, and we want it to be safe. So we're going to test it. Well, this is why you test everything beforehand. We turned this thing on and it immediately started leaking, so we had to take this hose off, and it made a giant mess. So we have to go replace a hose that goes from this side over to the other side to the pump. So always things that happen. And then this thing, we couldn't get the handle to turn, and Christopher just busted the handle off. So we have lots of issues. And Trevor decided to pee his pants.
Yeah, with freaking hydraulic oil.
Okay, we have the piler going down there. We have our sizer, and everything should run off of when we start the sorter table right there. Everything should turn on. All these conveyors, the sizer, the whole shebang should all turn on. Fingers crossed. Let's see if it works. Well, everything except for the sizer. The sizer didn't turn on, and neither did the rear cross conveyor. But everything, all the conveyors going down to the cellar did turn on. It's like we have a issue somewhere.
Like that?
Yeah, I think it needs to be like this.
Oh, we gotta, well, just as long as this isn't off.
Yeah, it's off. So this was not turned on. So many things to turn on. Oh. Well, let's see. Elevator stars. Why is the...
Everything's stayed on.
Everything's on except for this belt. Well, that's the... Okay, so it's running now.
Those are going backwards.
Oh yeah, they are. Everything's going backwards. What the heck? It wasn't going backwards yesterday. That's not gonna work. It's like we got some wiring to change. But the shut-off switch shut everything off.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's kind of what we were hoping. But
I think we just have to
looks like we need to change some wires. This is a mess of wires. We got to figure out which two wires we need to switch so everything will go the right way.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Does this have a reverse switch?
Well, oh, these two go forward and reverse.
Oh yeah. That's just the underneath belts.
The top one and those are together. So really I just need to switch that one. Elevator stars.
And the interlock. Because the interlock is what controls this elevator. Or maybe the elevator stars does it too. I don't know. Okay, just started the piler, it's going. And then Christopher just started from the sorter table, started all these conveyors. So now they're all going. Looks like the sizer is also going. So everything I think is going, which is awesome, which means it's working on auto. Yeah, everything's working great. That's awesome. Now, there are, granted the red button on that one's broken, so we took that one off. But now I should just be able to come to any one of these emergency stop buttons, just in case somebody gets stuck in something. Well, okay, it stopped this one, but it didn't stop any of the others. It's supposed to stop all of them. So, I'm not sure what's going on there. I have no idea. At least it stopped the one that was on it, but it looks like we still have another thing to figure out. So we have a couple problems. So this belt is going backwards and we can't turn it off when everything's running. And that belt isn't even turning on. So all this was running the right direction yesterday. We have changed nothing. And then today we turn it on and it's going the wrong way and it's already, yeah, I have no idea. So we have the electrician coming back. Also, our bin, we can't get the bottom belt to turn on with all this stuff. So Josh showed up with the new hoses, so we'll get this thing fixed. So we're slowly figuring out problems, but with figuring those out, we just get more problems. Well, we think we may have found the problem. The breaker in the cellar that this cord was plugged into, one was right and one was wrong, so we switched them and then everything went the right way. So we're rewiring the one that was wrong, and hopefully it works. There. Now these belts, because these, when we switched the plugs, these were going backwards. Now they're going the right way. So hopefully that was the problem and everything works now. Well, we found, well, this was low, so we filled it up, turned it on, and about 4 of the hoses started leaking. So now we're taking a whole bunch of these little hoses off. We gotta go get new ones made. That one's really tight. So the last thing we're trying to figure out is our even flow bin. The bottom belt will not turn when everything else is on auto. So this stuff's all going, but we can't get this belt to go. And I'm not sure why. Maybe it needs potatoes in it, I can't remember. But this is the stuff that happens when you only run this for a couple weeks out of the year is all. Well, we all feel dumb now because apparently we lifted that up by hand, the boom in there, and then everything worked. And then as soon as it got to the bottom, it shut off. So it will shut off when that's empty. So now it's all going, we're good to go. Now we're done for the day, but I'll bring you guys back tomorrow because we are going to load up all the trucks and do a little trial run to make sure everything works and all the trucks unload and that it all works. So I will see you tomorrow. All right guys, welcome out to the next day. I'm here in the cellar. This is the one that he's been out here with this thing, ripping up the cellar floor and getting it all smoothed out again. He's got it pretty well done on this side. So he just pulled all the dirt out of the middle where it was humped up and kind of pushed it to the sides and smoothed it out. He hasn't quite finished that side. He's coming back later today. But man, doesn't that look nice and smooth? It looks real nice. They're starting to bring the vents in. So we have our backhoe out here and all of our pipe movers are out here. They're taking the vents. They're bringing them in and stacking them along this wall. And then this guy's gonna come back and he's gonna finish this side. But we are getting ready to take all the equipment out to the field so that we can load everything up, test it, make sure it works, and hopefully we don't have any problems. So we're gonna start heading out to the field here pretty quick. Well, here's all the equipment. We have crossover or windrower. This is the harvester, and then all of our trucks getting ready to go. We're about ready to head out to the field and get everything loaded up. All right, we are now on our way out to the field. Got the crossover and harvester. I'm gonna call it the crossover. I know it's called the windrower. For my entire life until about 3 or 4 years ago, they're like, I've called it a crossover. So I'm just gonna keep calling it a crossover. It's the windrower, but I mean, that's just what I call it. I don't even know why. That's just what I've always called it since I was a kid. But we're in a train down the road, so we've got 5 trucks so far, but there should be 2 more coming, driving out to the field. So it's a few miles away from the cellars that we're going to be taking these spuds to, but it should be pretty good. We should have almost a straight shot to the cellars. The road we're going down doesn't have any stop signs, so should be, fingers crossed, no problems. We already checked all the tires when we were checking the trucks. That's the worst thing, is to have a blowout. All the tires that did have really bad tires on them, we had Ron's tire come out and they changed all the bad tires, so we should be good. But this is why we do a trial run. We're gonna see and make sure everything works and that there's no problem. So I will see you guys in the field when I'm getting loaded. Okay, well there's the crossover. Going through, opening up around. One nice thing about the 6-row crossover is we don't have to wait. We used to have a 4-row, and with the 4-row we would have to wait for him to go all the way down and all the way back for there to be enough room for a truck and the harvester to go in. But with the 6-row, there's just enough room next to the harvester that he can go without he can just follow right behind him. Now this field is one of our best yielding fields as if we go off the dig yields. The dig yields, this was over 600 sacks to the acre. A sack is 100 pounds of potatoes. So 600 per acre, that is a lot. So we're gonna pull up here and see how it looks. I'll probably walk out in the field. We'll look at the potatoes real quick. This field is also very gravelly. See all that gravel? It's a very rocky field. That's why we're digging this first, because they're gonna the fresh shed is gonna take those potatoes out first so that they aren't bruised, because the rocks can cause a little bit of bruise. So if they take them out quick, they'll be fine. So we're digging these first so they can take them out first. Let's go look at this yield. Well, it looks like there are a ton of potatoes. Looks like the harvester either has a rock stuck or something, because he's stopped. Also, the crossover is stopped. So, man, that looks good. These look like really big, nice potatoes. This looks awesome. Maybe not 600 sacks, but definitely a lot. This is going to be one of the best fields we have. So, yeah, let's walk back here and see what's wrong with the harvester. Usually when it gets stopped because of a rock, it's right here on the front. A rock will get wedged on the side. So, we'll figure it out. I mean, it definitely isn't overloaded, because we've had this thing loaded up like this all the way to the end and it still goes, but
In the rocks. Yeah, another one.
it's got to be either a rock. It could also be the slip clutch that may need to be tightened up a little bit. So might be the slip clutch. This side right now is where all the potatoes are, because we're not running 2 crossovers. So we just have 1 row. One side of it digs 8 and the other side only digs 2 rows. So this side is getting a lot more potatoes on it. So the slip clutch might just be slipping.
I think I'm just overloaded, but I can tighten up the slip clutch. I was trying to carry dirt up to the top. Well, I've always ran the machine. I put the back end all the way up, you know.
I looked to make sure mine was all the way up. The ram's all the way out, so.
But maybe I don't need to run all, depending on how heavy the dirt is. You know what I mean?
So this is the slip clutch. So it'll slip so that the belt doesn't break. But sometimes it's a little too loose.
You tighten it 1/4 of a turn at a time. So imagine this is arm on a clock. Just go 90 degrees at a time.
And then you try it.
And then you try it. I started with that one. I usually mark right here which one I start with, so I know. But
so we'll go see if that's all it was. See if this will flow up.
Yeah, they're...
Yep. Looks like it was just the slip clutch. So he's gonna take off now and start digging. At least he'll dig up to there, then he'll have to stop. Oh, one thing we forgot to put our American flag on there. I'll have to get a flag. Now, if you like this type of stuff, I'm not gonna do a full how everything works video. That will be the video after this. This is just trying to get everything set up to harvest. We had to stop for a minute because some of the potatoes are getting carried over, so we need to change one roller to make the diviner bounce a little bit, but we'll do that in a minute. And then also all the potatoes, he accidentally pushed the button the wrong way and it was going off that side. That's better. This is why we do this a day early, because these coulters, the opening coulters, are not turning, so it's just plowing. And then I don't think that one right there is turning, because that's just plowing. So it's kind of loose. Both of those bearings might be going out. They're both loose. We need to see if we need to make sure that one's turning. It's not. That's why he's plowing all this dirt. I'll have to get a bar and clean this out and get it all running again. Let's try this again. Okay, now that one's turning. Put this down. Okay, those are turning. Okay, everything's turning, so now we're not building up anymore. Good, good. One problem solved, kind of. These potatoes look really good though. They're nice and big. That's like a perfect sized potato right there. Look at that thing. That'd be a yummy baked potato. A lot of these. There's not very many small ones, which is good. So we're gonna be eliminating all the small ones. Well, he stopped again. Apparently he just got overloaded. Now we're going again. So that's a big fan right there that blows air out the back to blow all the vines and stuff off. Yeah, he accidentally flicked the rear cross button the wrong way. And instead of spitting it out that side, it spit it out this side. But these will all get picked up when he comes back through right here, so not a big deal, but he fixed it and we're going. Well, I'm out here in the field before I go to my truck. This is why we water the fields about 5 to 6 days before we dig them. So the dirt is nice and soft. It's not muddy, but it's soft. So that way, if there was any dirt clods, those dirt clods would kind of bounce around and break up and fall through the chains. So ideally, we don't take any dirt back to the cellars. That's why we water it. Because if the dirt was all hard and dry and hasn't been watered for 2 weeks, you'd have clods like this that are hard. They don't break up unless you really smash them, then they break up. But I know it looks dry, but if you dig down an inch or two, It's actually got a decent amount of moisture to it. Okay, well, crossover's coming back on the end of the first round. We've done one round. We've loaded, I think, 3 trucks. That's the 4th truck, I believe. And yeah, I'm in the 5th truck, and then Josh is in the 6th truck over here. Once we get all the trucks full, we'll head to the cellars and get them all unloaded. He's waiting for the harvester. I'm in my truck because I'm next. I wasn't paying attention. I'm not down there, but we're not really in a hurry. We're just trying to load everything. So let's go get set up to load. All right. Pull under here. Got to shift my thing down. We'll get loaded up here. You hear all those rocks? There are a lot of rocks in here. But we've loaded 4 trucks. I'll be about loaded, if not loaded. So maybe 5 trucks in one round. That's pretty darn good. So we've had this harvester for a few years now. I think it might be the 3rd year. But what's nice about it is the truck driver doesn't really have to move. They just move one time. Because the harvester's boom can move back and forth. So it makes it really easy for the truck driver. Makes it a little bit more work for the harvester driver, but at least he can see everything. I just gotta pay attention when he says to put my door up. There it is. Doors up. I have been slowing me up. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be full before I get to the end of the field. Yielding really well. I've got a rocket strap, really squeaky. Oh. Something stopped. Oh, it's his boom chain stopped. It's either got a lot of potatoes or a lot of dirt. It's like I'm full. Filled me up before I got to it. Man, that's 5 trucks in one round. That is crazy. That is pretty darn good yield. So now I'm gonna head to the cellar. And I think there's one more truck that is not here. So somebody may have to run grab that truck and go get it filled up too. But I'll see you at the cellar. All right, we are here at the cellar. We've got 4 loaded trucks, looks like. So maybe they only did load 3, I don't know. But still, that's a lot of trucks in one spot. Looks like they're having a hard time getting everything going, so let's go figure this out. Okay. Okay, I'm not touching it. Everything's going. Let's see what happens here. Oh, hold on. Stop it, Trevor. The dirt elevator's not on. Let me. Okay, go. Oh, it's on now. Okay. Okay, let's run these across. Yeah, we'll run it slow till we get the sizer figured out. We also can turn the shaker up a little bit. Not too crazy. This just helps get some of the dirt out if there's dirt in it, but this looks pretty clean. We have these stars opened all the way up to hopefully drop any little potatoes down, and you can see some of them are dropping. Now they're coming on to the sizer. Okay, let's close the sizer. I closed it down. So this is the sizer. So these are the eliminators. Want me to go more? Well, let's weigh that one. Grab a big one, let's weigh it. Grab a couple big ones and we'll stop it and weigh it. I closed it down some. So those are the eliminators. How big was it? Oh, great. We bought a new scale to weigh them, and the freaking batteries are wrapped in plastic. We never even turned it on. So those are all the little potatoes that, in theory, they won't use and don't want. We're getting a few out of here, mainly rocks actually, which is good. Shouldn't get any rocks in the cellar though. So Christopher's over there weighing potatoes, and I am adjusting the sizer because we only want 6 ounces and below to drop through the sizer. So he's weighing them. He's grabbed a few that said they were 14. So we're just going to close it down until only the little 6 ounce and below ones are falling through. Okay, so I got the scale here. I've got a potato that went through our eliminator. Let's see. 6 ounce, exactly. That size and smaller is what we're eliminating. Now, I mean, in theory, there's nothing wrong with that potato. You could sell that in a bag of potatoes, but that's not what the shed wants. So we're not throwing these away. We're eliminating them, and they will hopefully get made into a different product at a processor. So we just opened this up. So this is where we want all like the golf ball size and littler potatoes to fall, and that'll just go out with the dirt because nobody wants those. There's a lot of dirt and big rocks. Looks like it's doing a good job though. Crazy. I know, they're big.
It's kind of like, these are not coated.
These are some of the biggest Norcotas we've ever seen.
Wow.
But we turned this speed up a little bit, so this is going a little faster because if we can keep this full, then they're not falling as far, less bruised. But then we have the shaker that kind of evens them out, which it's not really bouncing the potatoes, so we shouldn't get any bruise there. And if we keep this full, when they go across the stars, it should be less bouncy and less bruised. But we might lose less stuff, but I mean, you look in there, there's a lot of stuff falling through, so it is doing a good job. And then let's actually walk over here. Looks like the dirt, there shouldn't be a whole lot of dirt coming through here. Looks like it's mainly just rocks, a few small potatoes. This is just the trash parts, that front little section. And then let's actually go around here. Here's our truck getting filled up of eliminators, the little guys that hopefully we can sell. If we can't sell those, we can spread them on the field as fertilizer. So they have $3 of fertilizer value. So if we can't get $3 out of them, we're going to spread them as fertilizer. This is where all the potatoes are falling through for the eliminators. Like here's that's probably a 7 or 8 ounce, but there's very few of these coming through. Most of them are under 6. So that's pretty good. That's about where we want it. Then let's walk around and see what this looks like. Now this, we won't be using today, but this is gonna be loading semis. But they won't run on Saturday. And today we're just doing a test run. So it should be fine. But let's see how this is working. So where it's coming off of, this actually looks really good. Where it's coming off of the sizer, I can never remember the name of this. I keep wanting to call it the eliminator. I guess it's the same thing. But where it's coming off of this, they're kind of bunching up, which actually is good because they're not falling as far. So again, less bruise. Over here we have a little bit further fall, but it's kind of rolling and not so much just falling straight down. So that's pretty good. We could turn everything up and run more flow, which we might. We haven't decided. But the whole goal with fresh, oh man, our dirt dump truck is already almost completely full. We got a lot of dirt in these, mainly a lot of rocks, but these potatoes look real nice. Nice big Norcotas coming to a grocery store near you, and possibly Costco. Pretty sure they go to Costco. But all of our belts, all of our conveyors have these little fingers on the bottom. So it just helps the potatoes just roll versus just falling. So we got all this Cellar equipment new last year, which is good that we got it because it's gonna help stop the bruise. So let's walk back here and see how the Cellar is working, how the piler and everything. Now last year we were growing Rangers for process, and it didn't matter if they were bruised a little bit. So we were heaping this thing up, running everything at full speed. This year, our goal is to just not damage or bruise these potatoes at all. See how they're just sliding down? Just sliding versus falling. We'll go down here and see how the pile looks. Make sure he's not dropping them too far. So far, everything looks pretty darn good. These are some big Norcotas. Tasty looking. Makes me hungry. It's about lunchtime and I want to go eat something. Go eat some Norcotas. Looks like a nice little start of a pile. They look good.
Looking good.
Yeah. Not dropping them very far, so that's good.
Yeah. Nice.
We don't want them rolling all the way to the bottom either, so.
I want to make grass and go to the top.
Yeah. That's a good looking pile of potatoes. They should all be the right size since we are eliminating. There shouldn't be any that will not be packed out. So, and when I say packed out, if we didn't eliminate, they would eliminate them at the plant, and then we would get a big tear because all the ones that we eliminate can't be packed into a box or a carton or a bag, and they'll just send them off and we won't get anything for those. At least eliminating, we at least have the option of spreading them as fertilizer, or if we can sell them for enough, sell them to a processor, and then they can use them to make flake or mashed potatoes or anything. Just there's a lot of products. There's actually a company here locally called Reed's Dairy that makes chocolate milk. They make milk, and they put potato flake in their milk to help thicken it up. So potato flake is used for a lot of things. But so far, this looks really, really good. Makes me hungry. And what's nice is because we have the sorter table with all the stars opened up and the eliminator with all the stars opened up, this field, okay, there's a rock. So some of the big rocks are getting by, but this field has a ton of rocks in it. Those trucks were getting loaded up with rocks. And right here, there is almost no rocks, which is so awesome. That equipment is doing such a good job of getting all the trash out. It is pretty amazing. So all of our potato harvesting equipment is all Spudnik brand. They're a local company out of Blackfoot, Spudnik, and they were bought by Grimmy. I know a lot of people say that Spudnik and Grimmy are the same company. They're not. I actually was talking to a Spudnik rep just a couple days ago, and even he was like, yeah, the Spudnik stuff is built extra heavy. extra heavy duty. It's built really strong and sturdy to last a long time. The Grimmy stuff isn't built quite as heavy. The designs are similar, but how they're built, Spudnik is just heavier duty, and they're local. So they make them 20 minutes from here. All this equipment was built in a plant 20 minutes from here. So we really like Spudnik. And then this is a Milestone. It's a Milestone sizer. Spudnik makes one as well, but this one was on sale. It was like 2 years old, so it's used. Milestone is also built in Blackfoot 20 minutes away. So all of this equipment was built 20 minutes from here, which is crazy. Okay, so they've unloaded the last truck. This is the last of the potatoes we just dug. So we have a couple of issues. It's pretty warm, so we don't want the internal temperature of the potatoes to get over 63 degrees, or else they will rot in the cellar. So they're already at 55 to 58 degrees. So we may not be able to dig potatoes during the heat of the sun during the day. So we might have to dig at night. That's one problem. The other problem is the skins. The skins are kind of peeling a little bit as they roll and tumble and just kind of move across. The skins are kind of peeling, so we're wondering if the skins aren't 100% set yet. So we might have to wait a few days before we even start harvesting because the skins are peeling. We don't want peely skins. We don't want bruise. So this is why we do a little test run to see if everything's ready, if the potatoes are ready, and how everything looks. So right now we're gonna finish this up, and then we're probably gonna try and decide. We were gonna start tomorrow, but with the skins peeling, we might wait 3 or 4 more days and then try it Monday. The temperatures are gonna get cooler during the day, so hopefully it doesn't slow us down too much, but I mean, we gotta do what we gotta do to get good quality potatoes to market. So that's where we're at right now. All right, well, we think we've got a lot of the kinks worked out as far as the equipment running, but now we have to wait for the potatoes because we're not sure about the skins, if the skins have set yet. So we are gonna have to do some thinking on this and see if there's anything we can do to make it work better. We might have to wait a few days to harvest or switch to a field that was more dead, that the skins might be set a little bit more. We're gonna go check a couple other fields and see if there's another field. Granted, we would have to water it first really quick before we could get into it, but there might be another field that's set a little bit better. But I'm gonna end this video here. The next video is gonna be spud harvest. We are gonna be fully going. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm Big T, I love you. I'll see you in the next one.